Access your free language gifts right now before they expire. Here's what you're getting this month. First, the Writing a Journal cheat sheet. With this cheat sheet, you'll be able to keep a diary in your target language and talk about your day. Inside, you learn phrases for common daily activities, from morning to night. Second, the Language Learning Starter Pack PDF ebook. If you're new to the language, do you know what word to learn first? With this ebook, you get over 70 basic words and phrases that beginners need to know. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Hello everyone, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy, mi chiamo Daisy, and in this video we're going to talk about the top 10 companies in Italy. Le 10 migliori aziende in Italia. Le 10 migliori aziende in Italian. By top 10, I don't mean the most famous ones, okay? So there may be some that you've never heard of before, but I'm talking about the ones that are the richest, the most powerful, or anyway the biggest nowadays. First one is Enel, which stands for Ente Nazionale Energia Elettrica. Ente Nazionale Energia Elettrica, founded in 1962. So nowadays it gives light, basically, to people, to houses. Its headquarters are in Rome, and it's not just about electricity generation, but also distribution and gas as well. I think its motto, like for advertisement, it's più energia per la tua casa. More energy for your home. More energy for your home. Più energia per la tua casa. Second one is Eni, Ente Nazionale Idrocarburi, which is hydrocarbons, I guess, but that's how it started. But this one too is nowadays about light and gas. In fact, it's known as Eni Gas e Luce, where luce is electricity, light. And this is also an energy distributor, and also it was involved with nuclear power as well. In fact, you may have heard of it because it also operates in 66 other countries and with oil too. Number 3, Fiat, or should I say FCA, because that's how it's called today, FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. It started in 1899 and it's known for cars such as Maserati even, or Alfa Romeo, Panda, if we want to talk about the common ones. So it designs, produces, and sells vehicles worldwide. Its really famous model, by the way, it's the 500. Number 4, still talking about cars, we have Ferrari, which I'm sure all of you have heard about. So it's more about sports and luxury cars, right? Its headquarters are in Maranello, and it's famous for participating in Formula 1 as well, called Formula Uno in Italy. And it's funny to notice that its color has been called race red. Rosso Corsa in Italian, Rosso Corsa, race red, not just red, but race red. Also, be careful, Ferrari is really close to Ferrero, which is another important company in Italy about food, though. You may know it for snacks, chocolate, and Nutella. Number 5, Intesa Sanpaolo. It's a bank with headquarters in Turin, founded in 1583. Intesa means understanding in Italian. It's a bank, and other famous banks are also, for example, Unicredit, Assicurazioni Generali. This is to say that I picked one to put in the list, but there are others really similar. Number 6, Campari. Founded and based in Milan, it operates since 1860. It's famous for its wine, soft drinks, and beverage in general, including the Aperol, which is nowadays used for aperitivo. So appetizers, literally, but what you drink before eating, or even like before dinner, or even nowadays there's the apericena, which is kind of a light dinner like finger foods, and it's really common because it's easier and doesn't take up so much time, and there's always Campari. Number 7, TIM. TIM, Telecom Italia Mobile. It provides telephone and mobile services, but also home services as well. It's just that nowadays people use cell phones more since 1994, and it's really involved in the spread of 5G, so even faster communication, and it holds around 30% of the market. Number 8, Poste Italiane. Poste Italiane, Italian Postal Service. It's the largest company in Italy for logistics, so for packages, and also for pension system. So people go there to get their pension or also to invest. So yeah, it's really big. Not everyone is satisfied with that per se, because there's always like a long line. And it of course depends on the place though, because it has many, many branches. Prada. Prada. Number 9, everyone knows it from The Devil Wears Prada, I'm sure. Il Diavolo Veste Prada. It's based in Milan since 1913. A funny story about Prada is that the founder, Mario Prada, didn't believe that women should work in its company. So he basically didn't allow his daughter to take part in the business topics and so on in family. But then it turned out that the son didn't have any interest at all in pursuing the family business. So in the end, it was indeed the daughter. And Luisa's daughter, Luisa was the daughter of Mario, is even today in charge of Prada. So yeah, it was a good turnaround for us women. Anyway, number 10, again, fashion field, Gucci. Gucci, based in Florence, Firenze, since 1921, and it's here too about leather goods, specifically because Florence is really famous for that. So handbags, shoes, and in fact, the mocassini, which is nowadays iconic, it's from Gucci. Also, Gucci's watch has the Guinness World Record for sold units in the shortest amount of time. Not to mention that the US President John F. Kennedy called Aldo Gucci, which was the founder, the first Italian ambassador in the United States. So I hope this was interesting and that you could learn something that you didn't know about the Italian market. And if you're interested in learning even more and having real Italian conversations with native speakers, click the link in the description, download our PDF lessons, and learn Italian in the easiest, fastest, and most fun way possible. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Ciao ciao. Bye bye. Hi guys, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video we're going to talk about famous historical figures in Italy. 5 figure storiche in Italia. Figure storiche in Italia. Of course there are so many, just think about arts and literature for example, but in this video we're gonna see 5 of them. First one, we're talking about Giulio Cesare. Giulio Cesare. The one you know by the name Julio Caesar, I'd say, even though it's funny to notice that in Latin it was supposed to be read as Caesar, so with the hard sound K. He's not only famous for his life, but especially for his death. He was born in 100 before Christ, so I would say he's the oldest that we're talking about. And he's famous for being a general, a commander of the army that at that time was not of the Roman Empire yet. In fact, Giulio Cesare is famous because he started basically the rise of Roman Empire, even though it was Octavian, also known as Augusto, that actually made it a reality. So he was a famous dictator in the end, because when the government asked him after the Gallic War to step down from his role as a commander, he refused that and just led a civil war that actually led him to take control of Rome. But then he was too much in control, I'd say, and a lot of people didn't really like it, and that's how he died. Before dying, though, I think a lot of you know him thanks to Il Calendario Romano. So the calendar that we use nowadays, the Roman calendar with all the festivities and holidays, yes, that's thanks to him. Also, he is famous for being lover of Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. And maybe not everyone knows that he also suffered of epilepsy. Epilessia. Epilessia. As I was saying before, he wasn't really liked by everyone. So the legend history says that he was stabbed by a group of around 60 men, among which there were Cassius and Brutus, and he was stabbed 23 times. 23 volte. A famous quote from him is in Latin, actually. People say that that's what he said lastly before dying, and it goes like tu quoque brute fili mi, which means even you, Brutus, my son. And nowadays, those words, not all of them, but just tu quoque, so even you, is used to express surprise for maybe being betrayed or anyway not having expectations met. Sometimes even in an ironical way, but yeah, that's where it comes from. Tu quoque. You too. Anche tu, Bruto, figlio mio. Then let's talk about a man who lived 1,500 years later, actually. We're talking about Cristoforo Colombo. Cristoforo Colombo. Columbus. He was born in 1451 in Genoa. Actually, a lot of people and countries then claimed his nativity, saying that he was from Spain or Portugal or even other cities like Alessandria in Liguria and Piedmonte, which is Piedmont and Liguria region in Italy, said that he was born there, but there are written sources that confirm that he was born in Genoa. He began his career as a sailor, so marinaio, and then became known as esploratore, explorer. As everyone knows, he thought he would actually reach Asia by crossing the ocean, okay? But in the end, as we all know, he discovered America. So the 12th October of 1942 is the day that is known as La Scoperta delle Americhe. It's funny to notice that in Italian we say that as in plural, so discovery of Americas, because then we divided it in like south and north. For that reason, also, a lot of places actually take name from him, like Colombia itself, the country, it's after Columbus. The names of his 3 ships are really famous: La Nina, La Pinta, and La Santa Maria. Niña, which is the little one, La Pinta, and La Santa Maria, Holy Mary. They were 3 caravelle, caravel, which are a kind of veliero, shipboat. He then died in 1506 after some more explorations that he attempted but weren't really as successful. Around the same years, actually the year after, another important person was born. I'm talking about Leonardo da Vinci in 1452. Leonardo da Vinci. He's known to be an inventor, inventore, artist, also a scientist, scienziato. We can say that his career started in Florence, where he was working at the workshop of Verrocchio, who was an artist who was, of course, his teacher. In Florence, he also worked a lot for Lorenzo il Magnifico, the Magnificent, from Famiglia Medici. And then he moved around a lot, so he also went to Pavia, Mantua, Venice, of course, Rome, and so on. From 1503 to 1506, he worked at his most famous masterpiece, La Gioconda, which is a portrait, un ritratto, which was the trend of the moment, we can say. But he was also a civil engineer, un ingegnere civile, made a lot of prototypi, such as the flying machine, which wasn't the plane yet, but also a philosopher. filosofo. He also studied the human body and so many other things, and that's why he's known as the genius of Renaissance, il genio del Rinascimento. Il genio del Rinascimento. Leonardo da Vinci, il genio del Rinascimento, è morto nel 1519. Leonardo da Vinci, the genius of Renaissance, died in 1519. Another important historical period is il Risorgimento, which could be mistaken for Renaissance as well, because it also means rebirth, Risorgimento, but it actually took place 300 years later. A relevant character from this period is Giuseppe Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi, born in Nice in 1807. He was a generale e condottiero, so general and commander, known as the eroe dei due mondi. Eroe dei due mondi. The hero of two worlds, which are Europe and South America. He led a lot of missions, but the one that made him the most famous, at least in Italy, is La Spedizione dei Mille. La Spedizione dei Mille, the Expedition of the Thousand, in 1860. So as the name said, there were thousands of people, actually even more than thousands, but that's how we remember them by, thousands of people led by Giuseppe Garibaldi. Volunteers actually went to the kingdom of Sicily, il Regno delle Due Sicilie, il Regno delle Due Sicilie, because it was the two Sicilies at that time, fought against the army and population as well, and in the end they unified it to the Kingdom of Italy, which was just about to be born at that time. So he's famous for being the unifier of Italy. In fact, the word Garibaldino, it's an adjective that comes from the word Garibaldi, so Giuseppe's surname. In the beginning, it just identified someone who fought with him, but then it also meant someone who was really heroic and someone that achieved the big goal without having a proper structure supporting him. Garibaldino. And that's where it comes from. Because basically he just went with volunteers, so not even a proper army, but still managed to unify the Kingdom of Italy. At that time, though, Italy wasn't all Italy. There were still territories that were on their own, such as Venice and Rome. So he also tried to do the same thing with Rome, but in that case it was a failure. And that's known as la sconfitta di Aspromonte. Aspromonte, where Aspromonte is just the name of the mountain. At that time, in fact, the capital city of Italy was Turin, and then it moved to Florence. When he died in 1882, his last words are known to be "Muoio con il dolore di non vedere redente Trento e Trieste." So I die with the pain of not seeing Trento and Trieste united to the Kingdom of Italy. So not to see the redemption of Trento and Trieste. And that's why in almost every city in Italy, the biggest street or square is named after Garibaldi. Lastly, I want to talk about a man that had nothing to do with wars, because a lot of the ones we saw did, and that is really famous for being the best comic actor. I'm talking about Totò. Even though his real name was Antonio de Curtis, his art name is Totò. He was born in Naples in 1898 and he's known as Il Principe della Risata. Il Principe della Risata. So, the Prince of Laughs Prince, because he's the symbol of Italian comedy. Comicità italiana. So he's an actor, but also a poeta. He used to work in theater, al teatro, and cinema as well, al cinema. He was so famous that when he died in 1967, he actually got 3 funerals in different cities so that everyone could go and see him one last time, especially in Naples, where he was born. For 2 hours, the city stopped. So shops closed and even the traffic was closed so that people could actually walk behind the funeral car. Some of his most famous titles are 47, Morto che parla, so 47, The Dead Who Speaks, which refers to Tombola, which is a game where we have meanings, different meanings for each number. In this case, 47, Morto che parla. A famous phrase from this movie is e io pago, so and I pay, and I pay. It's also a satirical movie. Another famous quote is c'è chi può e chi non può. There is who can and who can't. C'è chi può e chi non può. E io può. And I can, which of course it's not grammatically correct because otherwise it would be and io posso, but he uses io può, like a poetic license. You may know him from his famous gag. I'm always talking about movies that were still in black and white, but when he sells La Fontana di Trevi, so Trevi's fountain, to a tourist. La Fontana di Trevi. Go watch it if you haven't. So those were the top 5 historical figures in Italy. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something that you didn't know. Thank you for watching, and if you want to learn even more about Italy and Italian, click the link in the description and download our PDF lessons. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to use when apologizing to someone. After watching this video, you'll be able to apologize and say what you're apologizing for. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Scusa per il ritardo.
Non ti preoccupare.
Once more with the English translation.
Scusa per il ritardo.
I'm sorry for being late.
Non ti preoccupare.
Don't worry about it. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, I'm sorry for reason. The pattern is
Scusa per.
reason. This Italian sentence literally translates as, sorry for reason. But it means, I'm sorry for reason. For example, I'm sorry for being late.
Scusa per il ritardo. Scusa per il ritardo.
Now, how do you respond that it's okay?
Non ti preoccupare.
Listen to it again.
Non ti preoccupare. Non ti preoccupare.
This Italian sentence literally translates as, don't you worry. But it means, don't worry about it. Here are a few more phrases you can use with the same pattern to apologize. Being late.
Il ritardo.
Il ritardo.
Being late.
Il ritardo.
Lying to you.
Averti mentito.
Averti mentito.
Lying to you.
Averti mentito.
Hurting your feelings.
Aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Hurting your feelings.
Aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Canceling.
La disdetta.
La disdetta.
Canceling.
La disdetta.
Let's look at some examples. listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Scusa per averti mentito.
Non ti preoccupare.
I'm sorry for lying to you.
Scusa per averti mentito.
Don't worry about it.
Non ti preoccupare.
Scusa per aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Non ti preoccupare.
I'm sorry for hurting your feelings.
Scusa per aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Don't worry about it.
Non ti preoccupare.
Scusa per la disdetta.
Non ti preoccupare.
I'm sorry for canceling.
Scusa per la disdetta.
Don't worry about it.
Non ti preoccupare.
Now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, I'm sorry for reason?
Scusa per.
Reason. And how do you respond to it?
Non ti preoccupare.
Imagine you want to apologize because you told a lie to someone. Do you remember how to say lying to you?
Averti mentito. Averti mentito.
Say, I'm sorry for lying to you.
Scusa per averti mentito.
Now say you're sorry for lying and respond to it.
Scusa per averti mentito.
Non ti preoccupare.
Now imagine you want to apologize because you hurt someone's feelings. Do you remember how to say, hurting your feelings?
Aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti. Aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Say, I'm sorry for hurting your feelings.
Scusa per aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Now say, you're sorry for hurting someone's feelings and respond to it.
Scusa per aver ferito i tuoi sentimenti.
Non ti preoccupare.
Now imagine you want to apologize because you canceled. Do you remember how to say, canceling?
La disdetta. La disdetta.
Say, I'm sorry for canceling.
Scusa per la disdetta.
Now, say you're sorry for canceling and respond to it.
Scusa per la disdetta.
Non ti preoccupare.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to apologize to someone. You are now able to apologize and forgive someone like a native speaker. Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is the 2-minute rule to cracking through the hard parts of language learning. If you're learning a language, there is a 100% guarantee that you have a whole list of grammar rules or words that you struggle with. Or maybe it's a whole skill like listening. Either way, you're likely very aware of your specific pain points, or you could say the hard parts of the language. But what if you could crack these hard parts and master them with something called the 2-minute rule? Today you'll discover how to use the 2-minute rule, why you'll need to apply this tactic daily to make it work, and much more. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Writing a Journal cheat sheet. With this cheat sheet, you'll be able to keep a diary in your target language and talk about your day. Inside, you learn phrases for common daily activities from morning to night. Second, the Language Learning Starter Pack PDF ebook. If you're new to the language, do you know what words to learn first? With this ebook, you get over 70 basic words and phrases that beginners need to know. Start with these words first. Download it right now. Third, how to talk about holiday gifts. What gift do you want the most this holiday season? With this quick vocab lesson, you'll learn common gift vocabulary like laptop, camera, money, and more. Fourth, do you know how to say November or December in your target language? If not, then this 1-minute lesson will teach you all the months of the year. Fifth, interested in learning another language? With this bonus, you'll get free access to our other language programs, from Afrikaans to Vietnamese. Check out all 34 languages inside. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. The 2-minute rule to cracking through the hard parts of language learning. Part 1. The 2-minute rule for breaking through. If you think about the language you're learning, what are the specific points that you're struggling with? Is it conjugating certain verbs or a certain tense? Leave a comment below and tell us what your trouble spots are. It's practically a guarantee that if you're learning a language, you'll run into trouble from time to time. So how do you deal with these pain points? Well, there's something called the 2-minute rule for creating habits. If you want to start a new habit and do something new, do it for just 2 minutes a day. Once those 2 minutes are up, you can walk away and come back to it tomorrow. You can apply this very same rule toward cracking the hard parts of language learning. But the trick is, you have to keep up with it almost daily, or do it every time you're learning a language. How? For example, you can spend about 2 minutes on creating sentences with grammar rules you recently learned. But why just 2 minutes? If it's hard, you'd think you'd want to spend more time on it, right? If you can spend more than 2 minutes, you should. But the fact is, the parts you struggle with, whether grammar or otherwise, are not fun to do and probably not your favorite things to do. So it's unlikely that you'll put in 10 or 30 minutes towards something you struggle with and don't like. But usually that hard part, if you can master it, will take your language to the next level. So the first reason is the 2-minute rule makes things easier. If you only have to do 2 minutes, practicing the language isn't so bad. And second, you could put in more time up front, but that's not the best way. Language becomes natural to us over time, not overnight or after a 3-hour study session, meaning you have to chip away at it daily. You need time to review, to rest, to let your brain sort it out, and come back to practice some more. So what do you currently struggle with? Chances are you're going to avoid these pain points because, well, you'd rather do what's fun or easy, passive stuff like watching YouTube. So that's where the 2-minute rule comes in. Part 2. How to apply this learning tactic. To start, all you have to do is put in 2 minutes a day, or per session if you want to do multiple sessions a day. So think about what it is you're struggling with right now. It could be conjugating verbs, it could be a specific grammar point, or it could be the alphabet for now. If you're using a notebook, which we strongly recommend, at the top of the page, write down the one pain point you want to focus on, and just put in at least 2 minutes practicing that specific thing. You can do more if you want, but keep it short for now and walk away before it feels like a struggle. There's no rush to do it all now. Then, at your next learning session, do it again first thing. Open up your notebook, write down that same point you want to focus on, practice it, and then move on to the easier things. And bit by bit, you'll start getting used to the grammar point, the pronunciation, or whatever else that you're struggling with. And it'll slowly become natural for you over time. Again, it's not about mastering everything right now, but making it easy to do and putting in the time consistently. The point is not to overwhelm yourself, which can easily happen if you're practicing something you're not good at. The point is to end it before it gets frustrating. And if you keep at it daily, you'll start cracking through the hard parts of your target language. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to reach your goal for the year, the long-term strategy for success. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Want to be able to speak in your target language? Ideally, you'd want a teacher or native speaker to practice with. But if you don't have one, or if you're an introvert who's not ready to talk to native speakers, then good news! There are ways to practice speaking and conversations in your target language without having to speak to anyone. How? Keep watching. How to practice conversation, even if you're an introvert. Today, you'll discover 1. How to use your smartphone to practice speaking, 2. How to immerse yourself in native conversations, and 3. How to get feedback on your speaking without having to speak to anyone. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So, how can you practice speaking and conversations on your own? First, you can change the language of your voice assistant on your smartphone, like Siri on the iPhone or Google Assistant on Android. This is the easiest thing you can do and a good way to practice speaking the phrases you've learned. If the AI can understand you and respond, then you're on the right track. Second, immerse yourself in real conversations with our audio and video lessons. Learning through conversations is the fastest way to learn. And with our special Conversation First lesson format, you learn a quick dialogue in every lesson. All you have to do is listen, follow along with the transcript, and you'll get used to native-level conversations. Plus, you'll get every word and grammar rule translated and explained by our teachers. You get these lessons the moment you sign up. Third, shadow the conversations in the lessons. Meaning, repeat what you hear out loud. And you can practice shadowing easily with the line-by-line audio dialogue that breaks down the conversation into individual lines. Just press the speaker icon to hear the audio and repeat the line. Fourth, practice speaking with our pronunciation practice tools. Here, you'll get to practice speaking the lines from the lesson conversation and compare yourself with the native speakers. This is also a good way to improve your pronunciation because you can hear how you and the native speaker sound side by side. Just look for the microphone icon inside the dialogue and click on it to record yourself. And fifth, test your speaking skills and get feedback from teachers with our hand-graded assessments, a Premium Plus feature. If you're learning with our system, you'll get tested on what you've learned with multiple choice assessments and hand-graded assessments. And hand-graded assessments test you on your speaking and writing and are reviewed by teachers afterwards, so that you can get feedback from native speakers without actually having to speak to anyone just yet. So, if you want to get access to these resources and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Are there ways to make language learning easier? Is it even possible? 6 ways to make learning easier than before. In this guide, you'll discover the 6 ways to make learning easy, why cheating and looking up answers is a good way to actually learn a language, how to learn from native speakers without getting overwhelmed by their fast speaking, and much more. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So, how can you make learning a language easier? 1. Learn in small chunks of time. We all know that mastering a language takes time, and this fact alone is overwhelming for many learners. But while it can take time, that doesn't mean you need to study for hours a day. In fact, the best way to learn is to just learn in small chunks of like 5, 10, 15, or even 20 minutes, since language learning is a marathon and not a sprint. You'll need to be consistent, and the best way to do so is to do a little bit every day, instead of overwhelming yourself into quitting. 2. Have a roadmap to follow. Another thing that makes language learning hard is there's just too much to do and learn. There's reading, speaking, listening, grammar, vocabulary, a million paths you can go down. But if you had just one pathway to follow, then learning would become a lot easier because there's only one thing to focus on. And with our learning system, that's exactly what you get. You get a recommended pathway of lessons and assessments based on your learning level. Just follow the pathway from lesson 1 to 2 to 3. Our audio and video lessons are just a few minutes long, so you can learn in small chunks of time. And after every few lessons, you'll be tested on the language with our assessments. 3. Read along with the dialogues. If you want to learn from native speakers, you'll quickly notice that they speak a little too fast for beginners. You can't hear where one word ends and another word starts. But if you could listen and follow along with a transcript, you'd be able to hear and see the words, pick up every single word, and quickly get used to native conversations. So when you're learning with our lessons, follow along with the lesson notes and the lesson transcript. The lesson notes give you the dialogue of the conversation, plus grammar explanations. And the lesson transcript is just a transcript of everything said in the lesson. 4. Get the conversation broken down. Another way to make native conversations easy to understand is to have the conversation broken down line by line, so that you can hear each line one at a time as much as you want. And you can do just that with our line-by-line audio dialogue. This feature breaks down the lesson dialogue into individual lines that you can listen to, and includes the text and translations so that you can hear and see it at the same time. 5. Have someone else teach you. Learning on your own can also be hard. You'll likely have a lot of questions about grammar rules. You'll feel uncertain about whether you're saying things right, and you won't learn the nuances of words and grammar from a dictionary. So, if you aren't learning with a teacher or a native speaker, we'd recommend you get one. And with our audio and video lessons, which are made by real teachers, you can learn directly from our teachers and get words and grammar rules explained and learn at your own pace. And just like how any good teacher would test you, you also automatically get tested on what you learn with our assessments. And you can even get your very own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. 6. Use cheat sheets. Learning anything new can be hard at first, and you'll often be frustrated with the fact that whatever you learn now, you'll likely forget later. But the fact is, successful learning is a result of getting used to the language. You might struggle with words or grammar rules now, but you'll get used to them after seeing, hearing, and using them over time. So that's why it's okay to cheat and take another peek at the meanings of the words and grammar rules you learned before. That's how you get used to the language. And that's where our PDF conversation cheat sheets come in. You can use this free resource to glance through and review words, phrases, and grammar rules until they're natural to you. So, if you want to get access to these resources and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Is it possible to cheat your way into speaking, reading, and writing in your target language? It is. That is, if you have our PDF language cheat sheets. How to practice speaking, reading, and writing with the PDF cheat sheets. And today, you'll discover 1. How you can add more language to your brain without spending time looking up words in a dictionary, and 2. How to improve your speaking, reading, and writing with the cheat sheets. But first, if you don't yet have access to these resources and our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. What are PDF cheat sheets? Our cheat sheets are a quick way to improve your language skills without having to study for hours or spend time looking up words in a dictionary. With every cheat sheet, you get a basic dialogue and must-know words and phrases for common topics like hobbies, weather, talking about your day, and much more. And there are over 30 cheat sheets that you can download for free on our site, if you remember. But how can you improve your language with the cheat sheet? Let's take a look. 1. How to practice speaking. Every cheat sheet comes with a quick, practical dialogue that you can use when you chat with native speakers. But you can also practice speaking ahead of time. Just read the dialogues out loud a few times a day, and you'll get used to saying these lines. Reading out loud is one tried and tested tactic for improving your speaking skills. And when you get a chance to speak with a native speaker, you'll be able to say these lines naturally. 2. How to practice reading. You can also practice reading by simply reading through the cheat sheet, the key dialogue, and the words and phrases inside. Just download the PDF to your phone or computer and read through whenever you have a few moments. Or you can print out the cheat sheets and read through them as well. 3. How to practice writing. The easiest way to practice writing is to simply copy out the words on the cheat sheet into a notebook. You can also print out the cheat sheets and write on them directly. And as a bonus, you get to remember all of the words and phrases better. Whichever skill you want to practice, be sure to do it a few times a day, every day, for the language to really stick. Or just use the cheat sheets to cheat and get the must-know words for a topic you want to talk about. So, if you want to get access to these resources and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.